Reuters just published a new article on obesity in America, and of course you guys already know that it's a growing issue. However, now we have actual figures that let us know how much we're spending on the medical costs of obesity. According to Reuters, it's about $190 billion a year in excess medical spending. It's incredible. So this is something that we've talked about so many different times, Cenk, and there's always this question about whether or not the government should find a way to regulate the behavior of people, right? Should we tax soft drinks? Should we charge those who are obese more as employers for their health insurance? There are all these questions coming about, but it's incredible when you look at these numbers and how much of an impact it's having on the way businesses are shaped. Like, for instance, cars are burning nearly 1 billion gallons of gasoline more a year than if passengers weighed what they did in 1960.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Okay. That our fat asses is literally costing them more money.
Yes.
Can I do the Supreme Court on this yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Hold.
I have many facts and figures. So they go into the details into absenteeism at work and how it affects their performance at work. It turns out that, of course, people who are obese, not overweight, but obese, take more sick days. So more sick days a year for the most obese. For men, they take about 5.9 days off each year, and for women, it's 9.4 days off. And this is due to obesity-related illnesses. And also, obesity-related absenteeism costs employers as much as $6.4 billion a year.
All right. Now can I do the Supreme Court?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
All right, when it comes to productivity, we find out that the very obese lose 1 month of productive work per year, costing employers an average of $3,792 per very obese male worker and $3,037 per female. Total annual cost of presenteeism due to obesity is $30 billion.
Yeah. Not buying it.
And of course, if you are obese, it affects the amount of money you get paid. It especially affects women because obese women earn about 11% less than women of a healthy weight.
Yeah, that's because they're not showing up to work. I just saw the stats you gave earlier.
Right.
They had it coming.
Look, discrimination has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah.
We've done stories about how overweight workers are usually paid less than their svelte
But apparently
peers.
they should be because they don't show up to work as much.
All right.
Now, time for TYT Supreme Court.
Go ahead.
The court is now in session. There we go. So here's my analysis. Not buying. Okay, now, do I believe the facts? Yes. Okay, I'm not Bill O'Reilly. I understand facts. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is, am I going to go judge people based on their weight? I say, oh my God, it costs employers $6.4 billion and then $30 billion. Oh my, I'm an employer. Oh my God, it's going to cost me so much money.
It's costing all Americans so much money, right, Cenk? Because it's not just, the obese spend more on their health costs, employers spend more on their insurance. No, we pay higher premiums in our health insurance in order to pay the cost of treating those who are obese and morbidly obese.
Good. Okay, so then we can get to, they're too skinny. Oh my God, I got to pay the anorexia fees. I don't want to pay the anorexia fees. Oh my God, she got cancer, but was she smoking? I don't know. Let's charge her. I don't want to pay her fees. Oh my God, he got run over by a car. He wasn't paying enough attention. I don't want to pay his fees. Everybody, I don't want to pay the fees for anybody.
No, it's not about
and if
not
I'm
wanting...
a boss and I got a fat employee, first of all, I don't care at all, right? Mm-hmm. But second of all, if he or she is not doing their job, well, I'm not going to sit there and take it, okay? I mean, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm not living out on it, okay? If your fat ass isn't showing up to work, I'm gonna fire you.
Okay? You're the furthest thing from living out at this very moment, but continue.
So I'm not taking the fatness into consideration at all. That's my ruling. I don't think we should get into judging people's lives. If you're not working, then I gotta say, hey, sad day for you, isn't it? Okay, there's the door, walk your fat ass out of it. I say living in a glass house. Let's keep it real. Okay?
I know, but this is a much more complicated issue than you're giving it credit for, right? Because whenever the question of taxing sodas or sugary foods or whatever comes up, you're against it, right?
Yes.
So what do you propose the solution to this problem be? Because obesity continues to be a huge issue. In fact, the number of obese people in the United States has tripled since 1960.
Win. No, I'm kidding. All right, listen. here are some of the proposals that I would have. First of all, of course, we encourage people to do the right thing. You might think, oh, that's not going to work. But that's not true. With the right marketing campaigns, it does work. For example, we did an enormous marketing campaign against tobacco, and people smoke a lot less now. Second of all, if you want to get into regulating high fructose corn syrup, well, then we're having a conversation that makes sense to me, saying, hey, you know what, that's adding a lot of calories, and but it's the same as sugar, it's just a little cheaper, and that is leading to more obesity. I think that's an interesting conversation and one worth considering. But when you get to anything where an employer or the government is nitpicking your personal life and what you're eating and not eating, you lose me. It's Big Brother. I'm not going to do it. I vote no.
Okay, I don't even know what you're voting no to.
Yes or no? What do you vote, Justice Kasparian?
I don't know. I need to understand what we're voting on. I don't quite understand that yet.
Regulating people's lives in terms of employer or government.
I think the government should regulate businesses, right? And should regulate the food industry. For instance, what is the FDA doing? Like, we have crap in our chicken. We have literally, like, we're eating chicken that's been fed like antibiotics, things that are very, very much unhealthy for us. That
I
kind
know,
of
but that's a separate issue. That's a cop-out, because that's a separate issue. That's not necessarily what's leading to obesity.
But it does lead to obesity. Things like that lead to obesity.
No, keep it. Okay, that's easy. I'm talking about the hard thing. Mm-hmm. If you're an employer or you're the government, are you going to tax the soft drinks more? Are you going to say?
You know what? Yes, I am.
The unhealthy food you're going to tax more,
yes.
And if you're an employer, if you've got those weight issues, you're going to say, I'm going to make you pay more for your insurance.
I think that unhealthy food should be treated similarly to tobacco, right?
Okay.
There should be a huge campaign out there, education campaign, that lets people know how unhealthy these foods are. Look, and that might sound so stupid to you guys, right? But remember, last Friday we did a story about a woman who filed a class action lawsuit against Nutella because she thought that the advertisements that said Nutella was healthy were true. She thought Nutella was healthy. Okay, no, we need to.
I know, but come on, so we're going to say, hey, dumbass.
But it goes
Turns out
further than that.
pancakes aren't healthy.
Look, it goes further than that. I don't want to demonize the people who are eating the unhealthy foods. We need to regulate the industry, right? And another problem is, and you laughed at me the last time I mentioned it, but it's totally true, Cenk. There are less and less areas for people to walk. Like, Americans don't walk anymore. All right?
No, that's another easy one. Sure. More, am I not merciful? More walking paths. Go. Okay, now let's open it up to the court. Lorax is so moved by this, he's moved himself into the Supreme Court on this issue. Go ahead.
Just visiting the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say overall, I largely agree with you, Cenk, as far as there's no way to regulate individual people. But I think that the costs that we're talking about in this article are the product of like years of incentives leading more and more toward a sedentary lifestyle, crappier and crappier food. And basically what you talk about as far as industry capturing government, I think we've got, the food industry does it as well. And so now the cheapest calories to make are like the worst for you. So
right.
As an example,
but Justice Lilieholm, that issue has already been decided. I'm not even opening it up for a vote. It's a no-brainer. We already got past that issue. You're right.
All right. On the specifics of taxing somebody more for their health
plan,
plan,
thank you.
Can't do it. You can't do it. It's not fair to do that to people because the society has incentivized them to basically be a fat ass that doesn't take care of themselves. So we need to change the incentives in the society.
Okay, all right. We got a no vote there. Chief Justice, I see you agreeing with Justice Lilieholm.
Yeah, it's hard to rule against that because, at the end of the day, people need their free will, and you can't tax them for that.
Yeah. All right, Justice Jackson, we're going to see if we got any support for Justice Kasparian here.
You can't tax that, I don't think. It's one of those things. I mean, yeah, it's unhealthy, and there's many reasons people end up huge. It's obviously that's a big one, but I mean, what about people who eat them in moderation, and they're like, dude, I'm not unhealthy. I eat a hostess every once in a while.
Right. Now, there was some chance that we should have had Justice Jackson recuse himself from this case. Because he's clearly biased by the fact that he eats Mike and Ike's all day long. And obviously Mike and Ike's would be the first thing taxed in terms of products that are bad for you. But as you can see, Justice Jackson's doing all right? So now look, Anna, I hear what you're saying.
I just think that if this country is spending an additional $190 billion a year in health costs for the obese, right? doesn't it make sense to tax them at a higher rate because they're contributing to this issue? Why should I pay more for my insurance premiums? And don't get me wrong, I know that there are people who have genetic illnesses that contribute to obesity. And those people should be exempt from those types of taxes, right? But I just don't think it makes sense for us to sit back and be like, look, I freaking love to eat. I want to eat all day long. I'm thinking about eating right now, okay? But I know that I got to keep my health under control. And I don't expect other people to pay for my medical.
But it's called insurance. We all pay into insurance. And look, we all do our best. I don't want to nitpick people's life. I get it. There are some things that are clear enough. Like Anna's point is a good one about tobacco. We tax that more. We have special rules against that. But tobacco has almost no benefit. And it's all, health-wise downside, right? Whereas food is much more arguable. JR can eat all that crappy food all day long and it doesn't hurt his health at all. So then why are we going to tax him more?
Since we're speaking about tobacco, I also found this statistic incredible, and it's from the Mayo Clinic. It says smoking added about 20% a year to medical costs. Obesity was similar, but morbid obesity increased those costs by 50% a year. There really is an economic justification for employers to offer programs to help the very obese lose weight.
All right, those are very good points. You brought a lot of facts to this, Justice Kasparian. Nonetheless, you have lost 4-1.
All right, that's fine.
The Supreme Court has ruled. Sad day for you, and for all of you out there, keep eating.
Let's see how that'll work out for you.
Well, we've already seen how it works out. Not that well.